Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Just finished UFC 282 and a draw. Okay. I thought that was a pretty clear winner, to be honest. I guess. I don't think so. I didn't think so at all. The last two rounds, absolutely for sure for Magomed and Kalayev. And I thought, shoot, what was it? The second round? Or the first round? One of those three rounds. Maybe the first. I can't remember now. But I thought Magomed won 3 rounds. And going into the fifth round, I thought it was tied 2-2. And then he absolutely won that fifth. And he won the fourth, obviously. But draw, don't really agree. I don't really understand it, to be honest. But I guess. I guess. The card, though, holy crap. Absolutely incredible. That card was amazing. You start the night out with Cameron Saaiman versus Steven Kozlov. I thought Steven started the fight out very, very well, like I thought he was going to with his ground game. He was really, really good there, and but you seen him getting a little bit tired. And Saaiman did enough to keep himself in that fight, and he looked good in moments where I thought Steven was going to have a lot more to offer, and. Saaiman, you've seen it every single time he'd get into a bad position, he would explode out of it. And it didn't seem like he was taking a whole lot out of him. We talked about that the striking would be a big, big issue for Kozlov if he couldn't get him to the ground consistently. And it just seemed like the gas tank failed him. That's really, really what it looked like. So, great job for Cameron Saaiman. He looked really, really good. His power is crazy. His accuracy is really good. Great win for Saaiman. And then another one. I didn't really expect TJ Brown to come out and look as good as he had. I knew that he had great pressure and he really, really does good in mixing his striking to his takedowns, but I thought Erick Silva would be able to handle that a little bit better. He looked really bad on the ground. I thought he would be in better positions, and he had moments where he was like, okay, this is a good position, and then he would give it up for some reason. Not really for sure what that is, but Silva did not look great. And thinking that, he's 35, really, really needed to show something against a guy like TJ Brown, who, let's be honest, he's been up and down. Talking about up and down, Billy Q versus Alexander Hernandez, Quarantillo, I think that's how you say his name. Billy did not look great in that first round. Alexander Hernandez, good footwork, and really, really good striking in that first round. And then you see him starting to wait a little bit for Billy Q in that second, and really, really, Billy started picking it up. As soon as he got cut, I think at the end of that first round, he got elbowed on the ground. And you seen him pick it up in that second round. And he looked really, really good in the second. And it just seemed like he overwhelmed Hernandez. And that's a bad loss for Hernandez. Not that Billy Q's not good. He is. But I'm pretty sure Alex Hernandez was 9-1 when he beat Beneil Dariush. So very, very bad loss for Alexander Hernandez. And then another bad loss. What is going on? I don't understand what's going on here. Yeah, another bad loss is Joaquin Buckley against Chris Curtis. I told you guys I didn't like how Joaquin Buckley was acting on Joe's podcast. It's what I was talking about, He seemed to disrespect the counter ability and the power of Chris Curtis. And it really, really bit him in this one, I think. I think there's a distinct difference of going after somebody and then recklessly going after somebody. And it really, really was reckless on how he did that. Pretty sure this is off. And he was, of course, landing some shots on Chris Curtis because you can do that. He is there to be hit. But Joaquin just, again, didn't seem to respect the power coming back at him. And I think that's a big, big mistake. Great win for Chris Curtis to flatline Joaquin Buckley like he did. He must have some stupid power. In the Edmen Shahbazyan Dolce Lewin Longibala, wow. Edmen looked a lot better as the fight went on. He looked a little bit tentative, of course, getting back in there with being off as long as he did. Great win for Edmen. Flying knee and punches. It was a big, big win for Edmen. Dolce, very bad loss. He's probably done. Let's be real. And then Jairzinho Rozenstruik, Chris Daukaus. I mean, that was the pick of the night. You bet every single thing you had on that fight. I told you Chris Daukaus would have the speed, and he showed it immediately. But the power and the ability to put combinations together with Jairzinho is incredible. And Chris Daukaus has had 3 bad KOs in a row. Bad. Jairzinho, that's what he should do. That's what he should do. I told you guys. What did I say? How Jairzinho wins this is he needs to blitz him. He needs to go right at him early and get him out of there. And boy, did he do that. 23 seconds. It was awesome. And then Raul Rosas Jr., great win against Jay Perrin. I thought Jay Perrin would have a little bit more to offer as of defense-wise, but he got overwhelmed really, really quickly. I thought Raul was going to win, but I was saying Jay can make it a scrap. But he did not. Almost got bullied, beat up, and he's probably out of the UFC, let's be honest. And then Ilia Topuria, Bryce Mitchell, another one that was a lock for me. I didn't even consider Bryce Mitchell winning this. I will say his jab and his return when Topuria wasn't throwing was nice, but Topuria is a monster, and I tried telling you guys. And also, I think the UFC kind of jinxed him because he was 15-0 before this, and now he's 15-1. And on the screen, it said 15-1. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you guys don't believe in coincidences, but yeah. And also, put some respect on Topuria. No one was even talking about how good he is on the ground, like against Bryce Mitchell. Everyone was shocked. If you knew, like, Topuria's background and him being a good ground guy and all these things, you wouldn't think that. They think these things because he's been KOing people, but goodness, he's good on the ground. He shows it once again. First round, closer, but Topuria, the only thing that was keeping Bryce Mitchell in this fight was Topuria. Occasionally, when he would get close to Mitchell, he would throw his punches. The commentators were talking about it, but he got it cleaned up. He hurt Mitchell, sat him down, and then ragdolled him down. When I think Mitchell went for a takedown, was on his knees, and he threw him down. And he just wrapped that arm triangle choke up and submitted Bryce Mitchell. And I didn't like Bryce Mitchell being as emotional as he was. Didn't like that. Then Dricey Du Plessis. Wow. Darren Till, even, I will say, like, when he was getting beat up in that first, 2 minutes of the first round, and he was surviving, he was giving the thumbs up, yeah, he was showing that he was defending himself and all these things, but it was bad. It was a bad scene to see him be waiting as much as he was. I understand the caution and I understand that, but as soon as he was free in that second round, and I also didn't like the post-fight press conference, post-fight interview with Du Plessis, because he's just like, if I wanted to do what I could, if I just wanted to strike with him. No, you were fading like you do in all of your fights. And Darren Till, even though when he was landing combinations and throwing all these, he didn't seem to have that power. Maybe it's because he did hurt that knee and he couldn't put all that power in there. But even like when he fought Derek Brunson, he still had power. He hurt Brunson a couple times. Darren Till just looked really flat tonight. I picked Till to win. Because I thought the power and the ability of Du Plessis getting hit and slowing down and willing to take a punch, I thought Till would capitalize on a lot more. And even though he looked good in the second, he seemed like he had absolutely no power. Maybe that's because of the knee, the ACL or whatever, but he looked really, really flat out there. And then Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Alex Morono. Morono looked good, hurting Ponzinibbio multiple times, up 2 rounds. He has these weird looping right hand, kind of what he finished Cowboy with. And he hurt Ponzinibbio, 3-4 times in that fight. And then that corner told Ponzinibbio, you got to go get him, champ. Let's go get him. And then very close to the ending of it, 2:31 or whatever left, he hurts Morono, puts him down, and finishes him, gets the win. A much, much needed win. Morono's stock doesn't drop at all. He was doing everything correct except Ponzinibbio set him up differently, was able to land, and he has the power. I mean, he still is not that guy from a couple years ago that he was the dark horse. When he beat Neil Magny, that Ponzinibbio really, really destroys Alex Morono, I think. And then Paddy Pimblett, Jared Gordon, I'm going to be honest, I thought Gordon won this. I thought he won it 2-1. The third round's weird because Gordon had up against the cage and was beating him up for most of it, and then Paddy got his back, and yeah. And then the first 2 rounds, Gordon was laying that left hand over and over and over and over and over. Pimblett had moments, but he seemed like he was waiting way too much. And again, did not like his post-fight. Seemed way too cocky. There's no chance he actually thought it was a lock and he was just coasting a third. I think I talked about it. That Gordon, what he has to do to beat Paddy Pimblett is get him against the cage. He's really, really good against that. When he has people against it, and fight there. That's what he needed to do, and that's what he did, especially in that third round. I thought he won 2-1, and Paddy Pimblett gets it, but not a great look for Paddy. And then Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev. I had Jan up in going into the fourth 2-1. I thought Magomed won first round, I believe it was. It was one of those rounds. And then as soon as Ankalaev got hurt with those leg kicks, he switched it up, went to his wrestling, which I was surprised he didn't mix in more because he is good down there, and Jan has had issues with that, like what Glover did, all those things, and then it ends up in a draw. I don't really understand it, like I said in the beginning of this, but leave your comments down below, guys. Let me know what you guys thought, and as always, leave a comment down below. Hit that like button as hard as you can, and always subscribe if you guys are new. You guys know what it is. Peace.